Join the Quatch Trek team as we explore ravenous consumption. Nutrients are chemicals in food that your body needs. There are 5 types of nutrients: carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, vitamins, and minerals. All living things need food to stay alive, grow, and consume energy. Nutrition is the process by which living things get or make food. All animals get food by eating other living things. Herbivores eat plants, while carnivores eat other animals. Humans are omnivores, meaning we may eat meat or plant foods. More than likely, this is what Sasquatch would be. The energy content of most all food molecules can be traced back to the sun. It is the process of photosynthesis that locks the sun's energy into simple carbohydrates like glucose. Although the photosynthetic process, which is carried out in the chloroplasts present in plant cells, involves numerous steps, it can be summarized in the following equation. Good luck interpreting this graphic. This reaction only proceeds with an input of solar energy, and the product glucose stores this energy as chemical potential energy. Plants are able to convert some of the glucose formed into starch and other micronutrients such as proteins and lipids. As mentioned, the origin of the energy locked into these molecules is from the sun. However, bacteria can also create carbohydrates, and they don't need to use the sun's energy to do it. Instead, during chemosynthesis, bacteria makes carbohydrates using energy from chemicals like hydrogen sulfide, which is a byproduct of protein degradation. Chemosynthesis was only discovered about 35 years ago by a graduate student studying hydrothermal vent systems. In the hydrothermal vent food web, bacteria make carbohydrates, consumers eat bacteria, and predators eat those consumers. This food web structure and chemosynthesis has been associated primarily with deep ocean organisms far from any sunlight. In the Food, Glorious Food Song by Lionel Bart, he sums it up pretty eloquently. Food, glorious food, what wouldn't we give for? I won't force the rest of my musical singing skills upon you, but you're welcome to listen to the song anytime you want to. While we humans sometimes feel we cannot live without several meals or snacks during the day, we can actually live 8 to 21 days without food, and up to 2 months if there's access to an adequate water intake. Now, on the other hand, there are animals that can sustain without food for months and even years. Food is a major source of energy for the correct functioning of the body. It not only increases the metabolism, but it is fuel for bones, muscles, and nerves. Food balances the reaction level of the body. If we don't eat on time, it results in anger, dehydration, and irritation. In short, it's in our nature to eat daily, and that's part of our very existence. I'm sure all of you have been hangry at some point in your life. However, there are unique animals that can live without food for months and even years. Snakes. Their metabolism is reduced by 70% in cold weather, so they can manage without food for an entire year. Sharks can live without food for 8 to 10 weeks. Interestingly, the longer they live without food, the more deadly their hunting skills become. Penguins. The cold temperature reduces their appetite, and they can live without food for 2 to 4 months. The females get out into the sub-zero temperatures to hunt, while males sit on the nest, keeping the babies warm. Talk about role reversal. or just lazy males. Olms, found mainly underwater in Italy and the Balkans, these slim-looking creepy crawlies can live up to 10 years without food. Frogs, found mainly in wet habitats, allows their body to manage without food for up to 16 months. Crocodiles, you will be surprised to know that as one of the oldest reptiles on the planet, they can go for a few months without food, and in extreme cases, they can go for up to 3 years without food. And they save energy by moving slowly or remaining motionless. Spiders usually have to wait for their food to come to them, and sometimes the wait can be long. But no worries, their body is designed to last 3 to 4 months without food, and that can stretch up to 1 year. Bears, they sleep more during the winter and cut their metabolism to half. As a result, they can go without food and water for more than 100 days. Little note on brown bears, their height is about 3 to 5 feet in the shoulder and 5 to 7 feet in length. Very large brown bears can measure almost 9 feet tall when standing on their hind legs, with weights ranging from 200 to 1,000 pounds depending upon sex, location, and season. Now, brown bears are omnivores, eating a mixed diet of plants, berries, fish, and small mammals. Unlike black bears, brown bears have long, strong claws that they can use to dig for food, pick fruits, and catch prey. Brown bears in Alaska can eat 80 to 90 pounds of food per day in the summer and fall, gaining around 3 to 6 pounds of fat each day in order to store up for the winter. The western lowland gorilla can consume 20 kilograms or 40 pounds of food daily. 67% of their diet consists of fruit from more than 100 species of trees. The rest of their intake consists of 17% leaves, followed by seeds, stems, fruits, bark, buds, and occasionally small invertebrates like ants, worms, termites, and larvae. One of the earliest and most significant discoveries made by Jane Goodall was that chimpanzees hunt for and eat meat. Prior to this, chimpanzees were believed to be vegetarians. However, meat and other animal products can account for 6% of a chimpanzee's diet. Interestingly enough, successful hunters typically share some portion of their kill with other group members in response to a variety of begging behaviors. Looking at something a little more hefty, elephants eat roots, grass, fruits, and bark, and an adult elephant can consume up to 300 pounds of food in a single day. These hungry animals do not sleep much, roaming great distances while foraging for the large quantities of food that they require to sustain their massive bodies. And if that's not enough for you, the blue whale, also known as the largest animal to have ever lived, is 30 meters long and weighs some 170 tons, and it eats up to 3.6 tons of krill a day. That's equivalent to a daily intake of 1.5 million calories, or about 6,000 Snicker bars. So what does all of this have to do with Sasquatch? Something needs to be fueling the massive sizes reported, leading experts in the field to agree that their diet is probably similar to bears or, primate-wise, chimpanzees. The general consensus is Bigfoots are omnivores, which means that they eat both plants and meat, much like humans. They have been observed stalking and killing big game like deer, elk, and hogs, plus small game like salmon, rabbits, raccoons, and rodents. They appear to be opportunity eaters and scavengers as well. Others have observed them eating various plants, both nutritionally and medicinal. Dr. Jeffrey Meldrum is a professor of anatomy and anthropology. His lab in Idaho houses over 300 footprints cast from a mysterious North American primate. He is the author of Sasquatch, Legend Meets Science, which explores the scientific evidence for Bigfoot. He states, "They don't have claws or projecting canines of a carnivore. Instead, they have manual dexterity and massive jaws with enormous, thickly enameled grinding teeth, allowing them to process foods unavailable to competitors like bears. Their size and presumed primate physiology could make it possible to digest and detoxify a wider range of plant materials, from lichens to alder leaves. Natives complained of them stealing salmon from drying racks. Many sightings by hunters and hikers claim they saw Bigfoot chasing deer as well as witnessed them dragging or carrying a deer carcass on their shoulders. The one visual sighting I had as a kid in the Missouri Ozarks occurred during the November deer season. The 8-foot hairy creature I saw was sprinting upright along the overgrown field and oak forest edge. The speed of its travel eliminated the possibility of it being an upright bear. Interestingly enough, it was headed directly towards the location of a previous day deer kill, which would have left a gut pile for the taking. The long and the short of it, most Sasquatch habitat would have the required forage load to be able to support a creature of its size. I know in our general search region, the forage load is enough to support a large number of bears, numbers that would clock in the low hundreds or more. This is based on our personal observations and cameras. One weekend alone, I encountered 20 different bears in the search area. This year in British Columbia, we had a very late spring, which impacted our preliminary trek. This late spring caused a delay in the necessary biomass food growth. So all animals were late in their migrations and movements based upon our trail cameras and observations. However, a couple of weeks after our overnight trek, we did find footprint evidence that indicated a Sasquatch had passed through our search area. Now, we've yet to pinpoint their summer and fall habitat, but we'll be investigating the higher elevations where we suspect that they avoid the insects and the heat. As Keegan, Trev, and myself continue our investigations, we will make sure we are fully loaded up with supplies to keep our tummies full. And we might even have enough beef jerky to share. That is, if Sasquatch decides to join in. Please join us on our treks. See you guys. Until next time. Well, technically it's supposed to be pad thai. I think maybe actually there's a error in translation, and it means it's actually pre-chewed is what this is instead of pad thai. Yeah, or untied. Not really sure. I mean, it looks okay. And we'll see how it tastes, but it's just, I assumed the noodles would be more full noodles, but they're not. You know, it's a little my little camp bowl.
Oh my God, mine looks like a watery grave. Well, I have a problem with mine.
And Keegan says he's got a problem with his.
Well, the linguini's not cooked at all, so I think maybe...
Did you find a packet?
Maybe this is a problem. Yeah, I should have taken out and cooked it in my little cooker. Oh boy, that looks terrible. Oh God, that looks just awful.